all of you because you need to know this stuff. Your loved ones need to know this stuff. And it can be really, really scary to deal with any one of these, let alone all three that can interact and unfold into each other. Woo! Okay, so where do I want to start? First of all, this has been a really big subject and something that I have ongoing supported clients in because it is so huge. And that is that pain can absolutely induce panic attacks. And I'm going to even go so far as to define and help you source a panic attack, understand what it is, because we're always learning more, and I think you need to hear this a million times, even though I know I've talked about this before. So first, let me just say something that's really important to know about a panic attack. If you are having a lot of nausea, like, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm going to throw up, and you are feeling like, could this be food poisoning? Could this be a stomach bug? Could this be something really serious? If you are not breathing really slowly to the point that you could put your hand on your stomach and feel that, let's see how high up I can get here. You can put your hand on your stomach and feel that your stomach is actually expanding and contracting. If that's not happening, you're breathing very quickly, there's a very good chance that your nausea that's making you feel like I'm going to throw up right now is a panic attack. One of the biggest things that we know about panic attacks is that it is gut stress. There is a direct line going from your nerves, your worry, that is sending signals down to your belly, down to your gut, saying poof, inflammation, stress. And so we get a lot of digestive, just like acid reflux, nausea, constipation, IBS, loose bowels. If you're experiencing things like that, you could very well be having a smaller or bigger panic attack. So I will absolutely give you tools for what to do, but one of the best tools that I have learned is being able to differentiate between a panic attack and something that could be way scarier. Because a panic attack, it's going to come, it's going to go. There's a lot of things we can do to shorten that time span, and this is something that I teach people. But one of the best tools for you to know and have at your disposal is to be able to call it, identify what it is, so that the part of you that is anxious and worried that it's something worse, something really out of your control that's not going to be over in a few minutes or a few hours, isn't actually happening. And so I've called panic attacks like really like anxiety storms, and perfect anxiety storms, because that's what they are. It's this build up. And we don't know this. Our subconscious knows this, but we are not aware when we're inside. So you learning this information now and applying it to your loved ones, to your future self of, oh my gosh, is this a panic attack right now? I can hear myself, I'm speaking really quickly, my breathing is really shallow, I'm remembering what Morgan said, my chest isn't going up and down. And that's a whole nother thing that most of the time, and perfect sign to myself, I can feel myself talking about this subject because this is really real for me, because I experienced this recently. I could feel myself speeding up just sharing this with you. As someone who has practiced in this, as someone who knows a lot about this, this is something that still gets me and I still learn from. If you catch yourself swallowing a lot of air, like I just was, or having like these empty burps where like you eat something and you burp and you're like, it smells and it's gross, this is different. This is swallowing air because you're speaking too fast, you're not breathing correctly. And I'm actually gonna get really comfortable in my posture here, because what a perfect example of me coming into this call, rushing around my day, and there being this build up, build up, build up. You could hear me talking faster. You could probably hear the difference. And I actually had one of those where I was swallowing air and had like a little burp, right? So I'm going to continue telling you what happened, because this was like a Morgan perfect storm, that all of these pieces I've helped people with, and it's stuff that I've learned. And sometimes we don't do the right things, we don't use the tools, and then boom, it all hits at once, and it can be really, really scary. So where does overstimulation come in? Where does pain come in? So you know how I mentioned pain can actually induce anxiety. What happened to me a couple of days ago, and this is where we get to really learn, and I want you to think if you can relate to any of these examples. I stopped taking my supplements for a couple of days in a row that helped me go to the bathroom, detox waste, feel really comfortable in my gut. So I stopped taking my supplements. I got backed up, got really, really constipated, and then I had a travel day. And now travel days, we know, are very, very dehydrating. If you're flying, if you're traveling in the car, they're very, very dehydrating. So you drink a lot of water. I recommend that you drink water with electrolyte blends, with salt, with magnesium. So I was very dehydrated because I didn't have my water that day. And I had, that night when I got home, I had a horrible, horrible, painful migraine. Really, like, I'm talking, it started at 2. I used some of my tools. I got my electrolyte water, I got my pain cream, and I'm rubbing that in because I'm feeling that this is getting worse and this is getting very uncomfortable very quickly. And it's turning into a migraine, which, you know, like, there's headaches and there's migraines. Migraines are much more debilitating. So all of a sudden my headache is like at a 10, and I am in so much pain. Now remember that I said I also had stopped taking my supplements that keep things moving for me? Well, before the headache came on, it was evening when I realized, oh my gosh, I haven't been taking my supplements. I feel really bloated. I feel really constipated. So what do? I never do this, but I thought I was being proactive, and I had a coffee. Like, not a super caffeinated coffee, but just one that is a special blend that I really like, that really helps me go. So now it's evening time. I have my coffee. We know caffeine can be very overstimulating, especially if you're a worrier, an overthinker, a deep feeler, very highly sensitive, highly attuned to other people. You're a big empath. You're very likely an HSP, a highly sensitive person. You pick up on the nuances in your environment. Well, caffeine does not blend well with HSPs, which is why I wouldn't recommend it unless you are relaxing or you've learned kinds that don't give you all of those trigger symptoms. So anyway, back to my story. I have coffee in the evening, which is caffeine, which is stimulating. Woo! Well then, when I had that really, really, really painful headache, and all of a sudden I did the electrolyte water, I did my pain cream, which always works for independent headaches or independent migraines on their own. That always works for me. These are tools that work. Whoa, they're not working. Oh my gosh, my tools aren't working. Wait a minute, am I out of control? What's happening? Uh-oh, the pain is really, really bad, and it's getting worse, and there's nothing I can do about it. Our brain, our fear, takes on a life of its own. And we start becoming, what does caffeine do? It makes us more anxious. What does not being able to go to the bathroom do? It can make us more anxious and more fearful. So all of these things are just very casually stacking up into this perfect storm. And all of a sudden I realize my headache is really bad. My stomach is so uncomfortable because I just had this whole coffee and I can't go to the bathroom, and I'm really, really overstimulated. But I'm not thinking through all of this, right? I'm just in this place where I'm in a lot of pain now. All of a sudden, on top of all that, my breathing is extremely shallow because in the background I'm having all of these thoughts. Oh my gosh, I'm getting really nauseous. Could this be food poisoning? Could this be a stomach bug? I was just traveling. I was just home. I was just around a lot of people. Could this be something that isn't going to go away in a couple of hours or tonight? What? Oh my gosh, is this pain going to get worse? Perfect anxiety storm. Remember I said I call panic attacks anxiety storms? Now, independently, I'm explaining you through all of these things, but together, being overstimulated, having extreme pain that is to the point where it's debilitating in your head, that your tools aren't working for, now having high anxiety, a very upset stomach, and very high nausea. Whew. Was not good. So what did I learn, and why am I sharing this with you? When we have this perfect storm, when we're in it, just like I was, somebody who is so educated on this, someone who is thinking through tools and actively using tools that have worked in the past that aren't working now, I was at a point where I realized my tools aren't helping me. At this moment in time, I'm really having trouble helping myself through this. My mindset, the thoughts that usually I have that, all right, like let's pick this apart. Ooh, everything is getting worse. I'm telling myself, I'm safe, I'm okay. I can cancel my meetings tomorrow. People will understand. Your health is more important. But it's not working. Why? Why do I feel myself speeding up? And this is where the overstimulation wasn't allowing me to calm myself down and use my own breathing techniques. So what did I realize? What huge realization did I have after some time? Because I still don't know if I have the flu. I still don't know if something really bad is happening to me right now. I realized I'm in a position where I need to seek out help outside of myself. And that was the tool that became the most important thing in the world to me in that moment. So whether there is someone that you can call, there's someone that you can grab at home and just tell them what you need, what you're going through. This is a whole nother thing that I teach my clients that is extremely vital. We talk about the importance of relationships and having people that you can go to when you're having the physical things, the mental things, the breakdowns, whether it's physical breakdown or an emotional breakdown. So what did I do? I communicated to Matt, who was there with me, thank goodness, and I said to him, I had to repeat too, because I realized he didn't at first understand the severity of what I felt inside my body. This is going on, this is going on, this is going on. I just need you to hold me. I just need you to XYZ. I just need you to talk me through this. I need to know it's going to be okay. Now, luckily for me, Matt has, he knows what I do. I've taught him tools he uses for himself, and we have exactly what I teach. I really try to embody a very open line of communication when I have a panic attack or when I have something, because I didn't even know what it was. Remember, at this point in the story, I don't realize that I'm having a panic attack. I am in so much pain that I can't even see myself. Like, all I know is everything's hitting the fan, and this could be something really, really scary. So Matt, after I communicated that to him, from communicating this in the past to him preventatively, he realized, Morgan, you're not breathing. Like I can tell you're not breathing. You're taking on a lot of air. You're burping. That's telling me, you're swallowing air right now. So I communicated to him, and this is over the course of hours, by the way, hours. which is why I share this with you, because I really want to, I almost said like, say, excuse me, I'm speeding up again. I almost said to you that I'm like bending time for you, but really, like, I want you to know this because this was the most agonizing couple hours. I had this happen to me like a decade ago, or maybe a little less. It was probably like 8 years ago. I had this happen, but I never knew what a panic attack was. I didn't know that when you have a panic attack, like a really, really bad one, where you're like, you actually start to lose blood flow to your extremities and you start getting like T-Rex hands. If you're stressing at night, that's something you also might notice, is that you kind of come into a beetle position and you get these like claws where you close in instead of being relaxed, right? So all of these little notices, when we're in it, just like I was, okay, here's a tool, let's see if this works. Here's a notice, let's see if this works. There will still be times where you can learn a lot of this stuff, and your greatest tool in your toolbox is reaching out to someone outside of yourself and saying, hey, I need help right now. That is one of the greatest strengths in the world, which is why relationships is such a big part of what I teach when it comes to anxiety. Being prepared and having a person that you can trust to give you good counsel, to know your history, that you've had panic attacks in the past, or you've had pain that induces panic attacks, and you can even question for yourself, I am having a debilitating headache right now. I feel like I am going to, upchuck right now. And it is so uncomfortable. My stomach is so uncomfortable. And all of a sudden, you're not breathing. And it's feeling like everything's getting worse, which can induce even more of whatever the unwanted symptom is. So all of a sudden, if you're nauseous, this is a whole other can of worms, but if you're nauseous and you are hyper aware of your pain or your discomfort, and your mind, your awareness goes to it, you can amplify it. And all of a sudden, this, wave of nausea is now becoming this monsoon, this tsunami wave of, oh my gosh, I'm in a place where I don't have easy access to a bathroom right now. I'm feeling really claustrophobic and I feel like I have to throw up. And actually, I'm not saying it's up here like you're making up, but you are amplifying a slight discomfort. There are so many studies on this. When we bring our awareness to something, it amplifies. So there's actually this huge power. If you've heard about manifesting and mindset, our brains are capable of so much, to the point of controlling our pain, even within our own bodies. And yes, thinking pain away. I know this might sound a little bit out there, but there is science behind this. And this mindset piece, this neurology, I'd say there's a part that's behavioral psychology, but then there's a blend of neuroscience. But there's pieces that we can pull together, and when we learn, it's time for me to do my next stretch and fold for my sourdough bread. So I'm going to wrap this up because I can talk circles and circles around this subject material, and I didn't exactly have a whole plan coming on here of exactly, what I wanted to, usually in my lives, I really have a special education set for you. This was a really spontaneous story that really, really affected me, and it's something that I never, ever, ever want you to go through. So let me know if there's pieces of this, something new that you learned, something that you're going to be taking away and is really important for you to remember. Just you commenting it here is going to help you store this in your brain. So not only will your comment help this get out to other people in our group so that they see it, supporting the algorithm, but it's actually going to help store it so that it is something you remember when you most need it. So drop a comment. What did you learn? What was something that stuck out to you that you feel could be useful for you to use later? And I'm going to end it there. I'm gonna go take care of my sourdough, and this is just one piece. There's so much that we get to learn about this. We get to learn about our individual bodies, which is why I speak to so many different things, because everything that I'm experiencing might not be exactly how it shows up in your body. But together, I help you look for these clues from working with so many people for so many years on these very specific pain points, and allowing you to feel that you can go to the baseball game, you can go to the super packed stadium, you can travel the world, you can go fly on the plane, still have travel anxiety, flying anxiety. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many people I am talking to right now that have anxiety driving, all kinds of things. And I want you to feel that you can do those things and live your life without feeling trapped by your own anxiety, and actually learning more about your own anxiety and using it to your advantage, where it actually becomes your superpower. How familiar, how well equipped you are when these things come up. Because the goal isn't to never have stress and never have anxiety. There's actually a purpose to it. But it's kind of like inflammation. We were meant to have a little inflammation. A little inflammation is good. Problem is, with the toxic load in our society now, so much information is overwhelming our bodies, and we're getting very, very sick. It's the same thing with anxiety and mental health and depression. So much of this is making us very, very sick, to now where it's dripping back into our physical body, and we're having physical ramifications of our mental loads not being released, understood, expressed, communicated. So hopefully this all makes sense. Until next time, I am going to put this on YouTube, and as always, I'm sending you guys lots of love on this Wednesday night. Let me know what stuck out to you, if this video was helpful, and I'm always here to keep on giving you the educations. All right, guys, good night.